Hi and welcome to another watch review on my channel. This one is about the Tissot T-Touch watch. Uh, this one over here is a titanium version of the watch. This is the third generation of the Tissot T-Touch watches. Today we have a modern series of Tissot T-Touch watches which are bigger in diameter and come with a better technology and a different type of movements. When we are talking about the movements, um, the movement in this watch is E40.301. It's a Swiss ETA movement. Uh, this watch ran from 99 to 2005 or 2006, something like that. And pretty much it was a very innovative for the date it came out. So some characteristics of the watch. Well, this one over here is in titanium, so it has here we have a clasp, and also it has extendable clasp, as you can see over here. So for those who have a bigger wrist, here is the case back. The case back is has a standard info. It has a sapphire glass, as it says, but it says it's water resistant up to 30 meters. But when I remove the case back, it has a different. The Tissot made this. Sorry about that. Let's just continue. So the Tissot made this case a bit different when it comes to water tightness or water resistance. This case back over here is not a water resistant, so when you remove this case, it has another layer with the battery and the movement and etc. And that is actually what is watertight. I'm gonna show you a picture of the what I meant over the video. So back to the basic functions of the watch and the watch itself. The watch has these three buttons over here, so it's a quartz obviously watch. The movement of the watch is specific, and also is the case. Here we have a bidirectional rotating bezel. This watch was shown in a James Bond movie, actually, Die Another Day. It was not worn by James Bond, but I believe it's some extras or something like that. So here, those are the pretty much basic infos about the watch. The watch has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and one is center. So those are tactical areas or tactile areas, as the Tissot calls them. The watch actually responds to touch. To explain that, we'll do it in the next segment. How to operate basic functions of the watch. So right now we are in a timekeeping mode, so the analog and the digital or subdial over here shows the current time. So to use the capabilities of the watch, press this button over here marked as T, so until you hear the beep, and over here we'll have a flashing mark. So we heard the beep, and we can see the mark ticking over there above the seconds. So as I said, there are several spots. When you press in the center, it shuffles between the subdials, or what the subdial shows. So we have it currently at the time. When we press the watch, it says date, and then we have the units or what it's set to. So it's set to 24-hour format, and it's set to Celsius and to meters. So what are those? Well, those are the functions of the watch. So we have 24-hour format on the subdial, Celsius. When we press the thermo function, so to measure the temperature, the watch shows the temperature in Celsius. And also when we are in the altimeter mode, the watch will show the height in the meters. So what happened here? the 30 seconds have passed and the watch went back to standard timekeeping mode. So that's the one of the functions of the watch. Now let's get back to mode. Again, when you press on the center, you see it shuffles between those functions. Other functions of the watch are entered also by a touch. So you want a Meteo, just as you can see, it goes to Meteo. Altimeter, it shows the height. Chrono, compass, as you can see, the compass works. Then alarm goes to alarm mode, and then to measure the temperature, it goes to thermo mode. So again, pressing it on the center and leaving it over there, we get we'll get the watch back in its standard timekeeping mode. So I can press, I don't know, leave it like this. So I want to show the date, the day, and the month, what, and the month. So, and if I leave it over here for 30 seconds, it will stop flashing and continue the standard timekeeping mode. In this part of the review video, I'm going to explain how the standard timekeeping or the timekeeping mode works actually. So basically, you have the combination of analog and digital time display over here. The watch synchronizes the analog hands or the minute and the hour hand with the digital time shown over here. So as you can see, I don't know if it's right. Oh yes. So right now it's saying it's the digital time and the analog time are synchronized. But often a thing can happen when you replace the battery or you get the watch brand new, or sometimes the watch are just off. The watch hands are just off. To adjust the hour and the minute hand to time shown on the digital display over here, there is a algorithm to do that. So basically, you press the T button over here until you hear the beep, and then shuffle to this settings on the watch. Now deep press this button over here for 5 seconds until you hear the beep, and the watch, as you can see, says synchro. That indicates that I'm gonna synchronize the hour and the minute hand. So to synchronize the hour and minute hand, just deep press first plus button over here, and as you can see, the minute hand is rotating, and I want it to be on the 12 o'clock exactly. And then to synchronize the hour hand, press this button over here, which is the minus button, until it gets to 12 o'clock. And well, I got it off. I'm gonna shuffle it again. Okay, there it is. You can move the hands in increments by pressing this button one time, one by one. And to get back to standard timekeeping mode, just press the T button once till you hear the beep, and then it goes. It's 11:31, and it doesn't show the correct time, but that's one of the negative features of the feedbacks of the watch, because it can happen. These things can happen. So often you would be in a situation to synchronize the hands more regularly, or just don't, when you set them, don't touch them. That's what it is, and that's how it works. How to set the time on this watch. Right now I have it in the time is correct on this watch, but I'm going to show you how to set the time if it's not correct. As I've said previously, the analog time display, or the minute and the hour hand, is synchronized with this digital display over here. So this is the main display. So to enter the to adjust the current time, just press this button over here, and then the dot flashes, and now we are going to depress this button over here or this button over here. It doesn't make any difference, but the digital time starts flashing, and as you can see, we have the time on a digital display moving, and the hands are corresponding with that time changes. So I'm gonna get back to my standard uh, time, or what it is. It's, I believe, 13:35. Okay, there it is. And as I've said before, often you would have this mismatching between the hour and the minute hand with the analog display. But again, pressing the T button goes back to standard timekeeping mode, and it still flashes. Now I can shuffle between the date and the settings. So that's pretty much it, setting the time and date on the Tissot T-Touch watch. Setting the date on this watch is a simple operation. Press this, whilst in timekeeping mode, press this button over here until you hear the beep. So the watch right now is and shuffle over here on the center by touching it to the date function. Now to reset the date or change it, use these buttons over here. I press it, depress it, and keep it over there, and you'll see the time it's gonna start moving. And right now I'm gonna get it back to the date that is today. I'm pressing the plus button and keeping it. So today is, I believe, let me just check it out, 25th of April. 25th. Now to get back to timekeeping mode, just press this button over here, the T. It gets back to the active function, so we can shuffle between those three options. I'm gonna leave it at the date, and when after 30 seconds of doing nothing on the tactile areas, this dot over here will stop pulsing, and the watch will go back to the standard timekeeping mode. To operate the chrono function of the watch whilst in timekeeping mode, press this button over here once to activate the tactile areas of the watch. Now touch the watch at the chrono position. As you can see, the hands again are not lined up. I will have to synchronize the hands to do that, but to operate the chrono, press the plus button on the watch and the chrono will start. Pause and reset. It also has a split function, but that's basically the standard stopwatch or the chrono modes available on all of these chrono watches. So again, from my perspective, a very beautiful stopwatch dial. And that's pretty much it. To get back to timekeeping, just press once on the center, shuffle between the time and date. I'm gonna leave it at date, and that's pretty much how the chrono function works. The altimeter function of the watch. Well, the altimeter function of the watch is it's actually measures, well, it measures the height you are currently on, but what's the interesting thing about the altimeter function is that it's directly linked with the barometer sensor, or the sensor that measures the weather or meteo function of the watch. It basically counts or calculates your height on the barometric pressure. So very often we have the incorrect time shown or height shown on the dials. So I'm going to show you how to, but you can also preset the values of the barometric pressure and everything else. So I'm going to show you, nevertheless, I'm going to show you how to enter the altimeter function. First of all, press the T button over here till you hear the beep. Then use your finger to access the altimeter function. And then there, as I said, it goes to -6 meters. So the meters are the units shown on the watch, because we have it preset to meters. And that's pretty much it. That's how the height is shown. To get back to standard timekeeping mode, press the center button, go to timekeeping mode, get it back to date by pressing the central tactile spot, and that's pretty much it. The terminal function of the watch, well, basically, as it says, it measures the temperature. To enter the function, press the T button, hear the beep, use your finger to get to thermo, and there it is. It says 32.1 degrees of Celsius. Why is that high? Well, because it's in my hand, and it got warm, and that's pretty much it. But the Tissot says to get the correct temperature readout, you have to leave your watch on your stand like this or something like that for about 15 to 30 minutes, and you'll get the correct temperature readout. That's how the function works. And there after 30 seconds the watch got back to standard timekeeping mode. And that's pretty much it. The alarm mode of this watch is entered by, while it's in standard timekeeping mode, is entered by pressing this button over here, and then use your finger to get to alarm function. As you can see, it's currently on, and it's set to 12 o'clock at midnight. To shuffle between the alarm time, press either of those two buttons, minus or plus, and as you can see, the time will start to shuffle. And there it is. I'm gonna leave it at some, let's say 17 o'clock. So now the alarm is on. To shuffle between on and off, press this button over here until you hear the beep. So it has a one alarm, unlike the Casios, which have 5 alarms or something like that. So to shuffle between on and off, press this button over here, and the beep will tell you that the alarm is on or off, as well as the digital dial. It says it's off, and when it's alarm, it's on. So I'm gonna keep it at off, press the central dial, and that's back to timekeeping mode. Compass mode on the watch is interesting gadget that Tissot put in this watch. To enter the compass mode, press the T button, press the compass, and then align the watch so it has horizontal position. So basically, what is there to know? Well, the minute hand shows the north, and obviously the second hand shows the hour hand shows the south, and that's pretty much it. As you can see, as I move the watch, it rotates accordingly. So that's the compass mode. We are now in standard timekeeping mode. Get it back to time, and that's the compass mode of the Tissot T-Touch watch. The Meteo function of the watch, or Meteo as it's shown on the dial, is entered by using or pressing the T button, and then using your finger to press the Meteo button. As right now the watch shows the current pressure. It's 1011 hectopascals, so the units are metric. And the what's there to say? Right now my hands are not aligned or not synchronized, but when they are synchronized, when the minute and hour hand are aligned, and when they move together, let's say to over here, the watch actually measures the hectopascals and the pressure during the 24-hour format, and as it does, it shows you what are the trends. The trends are whether the weather is going to be fine, cloudy, rainy, or super fine. And when they move over here to the right, it basically means that the day will be sunny. And when they move to the left, the pressure is off, and it's not as it's supposed to be, and it's gonna rain. So those are pretty much the standards. The further the minute and the hour hand go to the left, the more it's likely to rain, and further to the right, it means more sunny weather. And that's pretty much it. How to set the units and the time format? Well, what I mean by that, I mean it. Do you want the time shown in 24-hour or 12-hour format? Do you want your thermal readouts to be in Celsius and Fahrenheit, or do you want your altimeter or your height shown in meters or feet? To enter that to enter the ability to change that formats, press the T button and shuffle on the center using the tactile in the center to this digital display over here. Now we currently have it in 24-hour format, Celsius and meters. To shuffle or change those, press this plus button for about 2 seconds, and there it is. Now if I press it again, as you can see, it shuffles between feet and Fahrenheits, and the Celsius or meters, or that's a US version of time measure height, and the temperature readouts or measurements, and this is the metrics. Again, depress it, shuffle between those two. I'm gonna keep it at Celsius and meters. Now to shuffle on the 24-hour or 12-hour format, press this button over here. It's the minus button, and as you can see, it shuffles between 12 and 24-hour format. Now that's the format I'm gonna keep it in, and now press the T button to confirm it all. And that's pretty much it. So we have 24-hour Celsius and meters, and that's pretty much it. Now that would be all for this review. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, that's a beautiful watch. And I've just entered the Meteo function. It's made of titanium, as I've said, and the bracelet is very well made. So thanks for watching another one of my videos, and see you again.